Okay, I want to start today with a bit of a mental gym exercise. I want you to imagine you're holding a pen. You're staring at a blank piece of paper, and you have a very simple task.
Okay.
You need to write the word quantum. Or, let's make it even more common. Let's say you need to write X-ray.
Sounds easy enough.
It should be. But here is the catch. You have to write it using a writing system that effectively froze in time around the year 1600.
Right. That is going to be a problem. You're going to hit a wall almost immediately because the sounds you need for those words, the Q, the X, they simply didn't exist in that framework.
Exactly. And we are talking about Baybayin, the ancient script of the Philippines. It is beautiful, it's historic, and lately it has been seeing this massive cultural resurgence.
Oh, it is everywhere.
You see it on T-shirts, tattoos, government logos, coffee shop branding. But there is this conflict at its very heart. It's an ancient script trying to survive in a hypermodern world, and frankly, it's missing some parts.
Specifically, it's missing the sounds for the letters F, J, V, Z, and X.
And that is a huge problem if you want the script to be, functional rather than just pretty.
Right. If a script can't handle the sounds of the people speaking it, it stops being a tool and starts being a museum piece. For a long time, the solution was what we might call spelling hacks,
The workarounds.
the approximations. If your name is Sofia, you can't actually write Sofia. You have to write Sophia. If you live in a villa, well, in traditional Baybayin, you're living in a villa.
Which feels, well, let's be honest, it feels awkward. It feels like you're forcing the language to walk in shoes that are like 3 sizes too small.
And more than that, it feels like an identity crisis.
Yes, if I have to change my name just to write it down, am I really using my own script? Or is the script bullying me?
That is the core tension. So today we are doing a deep dive into a project that aims to fix this. It's called Baybayin GLOKAL, and it is a fascinating case study in design, linguistics, and really cultural preservation.
And before we get the pitchforks out, because I know script reform can be a touchy subject, we should clarify what this is and what it isn't.
Absolutely. This isn't a political movement. It's not a government mandate where you'll be fined for writing the old way.
Right.
It is described by its creator, John Leyson, as a design proposition.
A design proposition.
Yeah.
I really like that framing. It sounds less aggressive.
It frames the issue perfectly. It started around 2020, and the mission was very specific. Can we expand this ancient script to accommodate modern sounds, those missing Fs and Vs and Zs, without breaking its soul?
Can we make it global
Yeah.
while keeping it firmly local?
Exactly.
So let's unpack this, because the origin story of this project, it didn't happen in a dusty library or a university linguistics department. It actually started on the top deck of a double-decker bus in London.
A classic setting for a revelation about Filipino culture, apparently.
Right. So set the scene. It's 2020. John Leyson is riding through London with Sir Rick Patriarca.
And Rick is the founder of the London Filipino Center.
Right. They're surrounded by English signage, English architecture, the whole Western metropolis just blurring by.
And they had just come from a lecture on Baybayin, so the script was fresh in their minds. But looking at London, the contrast must have been so stark.
Totally. And as they're watching the city go by, Sir Rick turns to Leyson and asks this simple, unsuspecting question. He asks, how about technical words like X-ray? How do we write that in Baybayin?
It's one of those questions that seems so simple on the surface, but it actually pulls the thread that unravels the whole sweater. X-ray.
It's a vital modern word. You need it for health, for science. And Leyson, he didn't have an answer.
He couldn't answer it, not honestly, because to write X-ray in traditional Baybayin, you'd have to write something like It just,
Yeah.
it becomes clunky. It loses the precision.
And that moment on the bus, it triggered a memory for him. Back in 2018, he had worked with a researcher, Mrs. Russell Irene Lagunsab,
Okay.
and she was writing her thesis and asked Leyson to design a font that included experimental glyphs for sounds like fa, ja, and va.
Ah, so the seed was planted back then, but the bus ride was the watering moment.
Exactly. Leyson realized that by relying on those spelling hacks we mentioned, turning X-ray into X-ray, we were effectively disconnecting the script from the reality of how Filipinos actually speak today.
That's the key, isn't it? If the script ignores the reality of the speaker eventually ignores the script.
Precisely. Leyson realized that if you force a modern speaker to change their name from Victor to Victor just to write it down, you are treating the script like a fossil trapped in amber.
You're saying the preservation of the rules is more important than the identity of the person using them.
Right. And Leyson wanted to flip that. He wanted to make the script alive.
But And here's where I want to push back a little. Isn't it dangerous to just start inventing letters?
That's the big question.
If I just start drawing random squiggles and say, okay, everyone, this is the letter F now, doesn't that just create chaos?
It would, if it were random. And that is what separates Baybayin GLOKAL from other casual attempts at modernization. Yeah. Leyson didn't just doodle. He applied a very strict design philosophy.
A framework.
Exactly. He used a framework called Anatomya Baybayin, or the Anatomy of Baybayin. He gave himself rules.
Very strict rules. He set 3 core principles for himself to ensure he wasn't just inventing things out of thin air.
I want to go through these because they're what makes this credible. The first one is historical shape memory. That sounds pretty academic. What does it mean in plain English?
It effectively means don't invent from scratch.
Okay.
The idea is to reveal what is already there. Leyson believed that the visual roots for these new letters were already embedded in the ancient script's DNA. He just had to find them.
So it has to look like it belongs at the family reunion.
Right. If you create a shape that looks totally alien, like a Greek letter or a kanji character, the Baybayin system visually rejects it. It has to look like it has always been there, just waiting to be noticed.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the second principle?
Form minimalism. Baybayin is a gesture-based script. It flows. It was originally written on bamboo, scratched with a knife or a sharp point.
So no complex shading or serif details.
Exactly. If a new character is too complicated, if it has too many strokes, it fails. If you can't memorize it by the simple gesture of your hand, it's not Baybayin.
And the third?
Visual consistency. Every character in Baybayin belongs to a family of shapes. For example, you have the Ulom Kalaba or Carabao Head family. You have the ballet or house family.
Right.
Every new letter Leyson proposed had to fit strictly into one of these 5 foundational families.
So it's like he's playing this really intense game of Tetris. He needs new sounds, but he's only allowed to use the old blocks.
Responsible expansion is what he calls it.
All right, let's get into the weeds here. I want to visualize this for you.
Yeah.
This is an audio deep dive, so we have to paint a picture. Let's look at the F. How do we get an F out of a system that only has P?
Okay, so visualize the traditional character for paw. It looks a bit like a hook or a scoop.
Got it.
To create F, Leyson didn't reinvent the wheel. He simply added one single stroke to the paw.
Just one stroke. That seems almost too simple.
But think about the sound. Paw is a hard stop. Your lips close. Paw.
Right.
Fa is technically a fricative. It has friction. That added stroke visually represents that friction. It belongs to the Ulo-Nonkalaba family. It's elegant because if you squint, it still looks like paw, but the modification tells your brain, add friction here.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Now let's look at one that is trickier, the V. This is a sound that definitely didn't exist in pre-colonial Tagalog. How did he solve this?
This is my favorite example of his logic. He created a hybrid. He started with the character for ba, which looks like a kidney bean or a heart shape.
Okay, got the kidney bean.
Then he took the character ha. Now, in Baybayin, ha represents breath. It represents air. He placed the ha character directly underneath the ba.
Wait, why ha? Is there a reason?
Yes. Think about the physics of your mouth. When you say the letter B, it's a hard stop. Ba. Your lips close. But when you say V, what happens? Va. It's the same mouth shape, but you are forcing air or breath through the vibration of your lip.
Okay, I'm doing it now. V viva. It's a bee with a buzz. It's a bee with breath.
Exactly. And since ha represents breath, Leyson is saying, if you take a B shape and you add the breath symbol underneath it, you physically create the instructions for the V sound.
Okay, that is actually brilliant. It's not just a random shape. It's a diagram of how to use your mouth. Ba plus air equals va.
And it fits perfectly into the ballet or house family of shapes. It's logical.
Let's keep going. What about J? Like in jeepney or John.
And that's exactly what he did visually. The J is a combination of da and ya. If you look at the strokes, it uses the curves of the da character, but incorporates that distinct flick of the ya. It creates this hybrid sound dia, which is essentially what a J is.
I love how these aren't random. They're built on phonetics. Let's tackle the Z.
The Z combines the Ulo-Nonkalabao A shape with the character sa, but it adds crossing strokes. In many writing systems, crossing a line indicates a voiced version of a sound.
So sa becomes za.
The unvoiced sa becomes the voice za with the vocal cord vibration. The strokes tell you to add that buzz.
And finally, the one that started it all on that bus in London, the X.
The X is a ligature.
Where you connect 2 letters.
Right. He took ka and sa because X is really just a K sound, like in box, and he intersected them. It captures that friction sound perfectly.
Now, I noticed in the source material there was a note about the letter ra. The sources say this isn't actually a new invention.
This is a great catch. The Ra included in the G-local set isn't a modern design by Leyson. He actually pulled it from history, specifically the 1601 Zambul Ra.
So he's correcting the record in a way.
He's honoring regional history. Standard Baybayin often conflated Da and Ra. You'd have to guess from context, but the Zambul region had a distinct character for it, so he brought that back. It shows he's doing his homework.
And there's one more subtle tweak that I think is really helpful. The vowels I and U. In traditional Baybayin, E and I are the same, and O and U are the same.
Extremely confusing. Ulo, head, could be read as Olo. Leyson added a small visual cue. For the U, he just extended the upward tail of the character.
It's a tiny detail.
A tiny detail, but it visually separates the U sound from the O sound. Again, it's all about functionality.
Okay, so we have the letters. We can write Ferrari and zebra now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another problem with using Baybayin in the 21st century, and that is technology and acronyms.
This is the vowel killer problem.
Sounds like a bad sci-fi movie villain, the vowel killer. Explain why this is such a headache for this kind of script.
Okay, so Baybayin is a syllabary. That means every consonant has a built-in vowel. If you write the character for ka, it is read as ka. You can't just write k. To just k, you have to put a mark, a kudlit, or a cross to kill the vowel.
So if I want to write an acronym like UNESCO or BSP or PNP, things we use every day, PNP becomes PANAPA.
Exactly. And to fix it, you have to put these little crosses under every single letter. It creates a visual clutter. It looks messy. It's hard to read quickly on a screen.
So what's the fix?
Leyson introduced a specific innovation called the pangultas.
The Pangulthas.
It serves as a specialized vowel killer. In the digital font he designed, it's mapped to the lowercase x key. It allows for a very clean, distinct consonant ending, designed specifically for small text where the traditional cross might get lost.
It's like a mute button for the vowel, but designed for the digital age. It cleans up the text so it looks like a modern logo type.
Exactly. And speaking of modern language, the sources mention something called portmanteaus.
Right. A portmanteau is a word that blends the sounds and meanings of two others, like brunch, breakfast plus lunch, or the Filipino favorite, tapsilog.
Tapas, siningag, itlog, the holy trinity of breakfast.
Or altanghap, almusal, taghalian, hapunan. These words are staples.
The G-local system uses ligatures, those connecting strokes, to write these blended words clearly.
It's kind of like the ampersand symbol, the apposite in English.
That's a perfect comparison. We forget this, but the ampersand was originally a ligature of the letters E and T, E, which is Latin for and. Over time, the E and T just merged into one symbol.
So Leyson is applying that same kind of evolution to Baybayin to handle things like tapsilog.
It allows the script to evolve naturally, just like Latin script did.
This brings us to the bigger philosophical question, and I know you have thoughts on this. Some purists might say, don't touch the script. It is what it is. If you add an F, you are ruining it. You're polluting the culture.
That is the common resistance, and it comes from a good place, a place of protection. I get that. But to answer that, we have to look at the gold standard for language revival, modern Hebrew.
And a man named Eliezer ben Yehuda.
The father of modern Hebrew. But we often forget what he was actually up against. In the late 1800s, Hebrew was effectively a museum language. It was for prayer. You didn't use it to buy groceries.
It was holy, but it wasn't useful.
Right. It was frozen in amber. And when Ben Yehuda tried to revive it as a daily language for a modern state, he hit a wall. He looked around his house and realized he couldn't name half the things he saw.
There was no ancient biblical word for ice cream.
No word for bicycle or newspaper. The language was incompatible with reality.
So what did he do?
This is the crucial part. He didn't just throw his hands up. He didn't just say, well, let's just use the English word. He used the ancient root system of Hebrew to engineer new words. He effectively hacked the holy language to save it.
And today, nobody questions if the word for computer in Hebrew is real.
It just is.
So that's the parallel. If Ben Yehuda could invent words to save a language, Leyson is arguing we can evolve letters to save a script.
It's a powerful point. If you don't let it grow, you are effectively killing it. The sources call this the third wave of cultural globalization. It's a battle between indigenization and colonization.
How so?
Well, the argument is that language evolves. The Tagalog spoken in 1600 is not the Tagalog spoken today. We use words like computer, virus, traffic.
And names. This is the part that really hits home for me. If my name is Sofia or Beatrix,
Under the old system, you have to change who you are to fit the script. You become Sophia, you become Beatrix. It feels like a downgrade, like the script is rejecting you.
It's saying you don't fit here.
Exactly. With GLKAL, the script changes to accommodate you. It allows Filipinos to write their own names properly without erasing their identity. It's about owning the script rather than being owned by it.
It moves Baybayin from being just an aesthetic museum piece,
Yeah.
something you put on a wall but don't use, to a functional tool.
It becomes something artists, educators, and regular people can actually use to communicate. And that is the key word, communicate, not just decorate.
What fascinates me is that Leyson emphasizes he isn't trying to replace the old script. He isn't saying, throw away the history book.
No, and that's important. He is saying, let's reveal what was hidden so we can use it for the future. It's an expansion pack, not a reboot.
It's a tool for the next gen, essentially.
And for the current generation who wants to connect with their heritage but feels locked out by the limitations.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, the main takeaway is that Baybayin GLOKAL is a proposition. It's a proposal to make an ancient script capable of handling the sounds of the modern world.
The F's, V's, JS, Z's, and X's, using a logic that is deeply rooted in the script's own history. It is global in reach, but local in soul.
And it challenges us to think about what preservation really means. Does it mean keeping something in a glass case?
Or does it mean giving it the tools to survive in the wild?
I want to leave you with a quote from the source material that really stuck with me. It's a bit of a provocative thought for you to chew on as you go about your day.
It's a question of survival, really.
The quote is this: "Design provokes change, not for change's sake, but when what we've inherited begins to silence what we're meant to become." And finally, the question that started it all. If a script cannot write the word future, does it have one?
A profound question.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you on the next one.